Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lords of the Night. With me, as always, is the Lord of Pain, Ranting Monkey.
Hello.
And the Lord of Pennies, Satsu 2 cents.
What up, Doubt?
And I'm your host, Scribe, the Lord of Punishment. Hello, chat. Hello, everyone. Hope you are all having a good Friday, have had a good week, and have a good weekend ahead of you. Why is Monkey He-Man? Has been asked too many times in the chat for my liking. So I'm going to explain to you why Monkey's He-Man. First off, his avatar's... Well, there's that. His avatar's natural coloration just matched best with He-Man. But also, little known fact, I still, in my heart of hearts, think of this as this entire endeavor founded by Monkey. This show would not exist if Monkey hadn't been bored off his ass day after day after day in those early days. And for the longest time, it was just called the Monkey Stream or something. So, you know, like I say, in my personal data bank, I still kind of see this as just a continuation of Monkey's brilliance.
My ass is brilliance. Because I was here on my bored ass.
You try to take something that, you know, is kind of lovely, sentimental thought and just got to ruin it.
It was a very nice thought.
Yeah, you just got to ruin it with your ass.
What do you mean ruin it with my ass? Have you seen my ass? It is sweet.
A shiny, sweet. Anyway, thank you, Angry Illinoisan. Let's see how long it takes for me to get yelled at. Shoot, she walked in.
Well, that was fast.
What?
For donating.
Oh, is that a no-no right now?
He gets in trouble for it sometimes. I don't know if that was this one.
Okay, well, I don't want you to do anything that's going to get you in trouble.
Angry, tell her we all said happy birthday. That was the other day.
That's right. That's right. We did sing that.
I don't know if you feel better.
But anyway, outside of futilely attempting to praise my friend, hey Satsu, how are you doing?
Pretty good. I had a significantly more peaceful day than I would have had if I didn't delete Twitter and Facebook off of my phone this morning.
Well, in similar vein, Professor Chaos, thank you so much. Welp, I got banned off Twitter again today. Jeez, what is going on?
I didn't. I said some pretty horrible shit.
So how was your day changed by not having the FB and Twitter around you?
Well, for one, I stayed out of a whole bunch of arguments that I would have otherwise gotten into if I wasn't on it because, whoa boy, were people being stupid this morning. So I just was like, you know what? No, I'm not doing it. I deleted them both off my phone. And like I said, if I wasn't in here on the computer, then I can't see what's going on. And it was lovely.
Now, just to be clear, you didn't delete your account. You just took them off your phone.
No, I just deleted the app off my phone. Yeah.
Alrighty. Thank you again. Thank you again, Angry Illinoisan. I got my COVID-19 check today and deposited today, so I may feel extra generous. Well, okay. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. But, I mean, if it's going to get you in trouble, it's all right. It's okay.
Wow. You just got it just now? The first round? That's crazy.
Well, some people are just getting the paper checks now.
I know. That's what I'm tripping on. Like, wow. Why did it take so long?
Monkey. Yeah, government. Monkey, how are you?
I'm sore, man. I fell on my face.
Yeah, tell us what were the circumstances around your latest
sure.
collision?
I was sitting at the dinner table eating, and I was done, so I get up and go to take a step so I can put my stuff away, and I fell. That's it.
Was anybody there to assist you?
Yeah, Lady Monkey said it looked really funny. And my son asked it or told me as I'm laying down, I'll get everything cleaned up. Do you need me to get anything for you? And he offered to get me a pillow while I was laying down there because he's a good boy. Meanwhile, I want to reiterate, my wife said to me, that was really funny. Thank you. Yeah,
it's very lovely. Lovely. Yeah.
She's a sweetheart. I love her to death.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I scraped myself up bad too. That was a harder fall than some of the stair ones, but otherwise I've had a decent day. Unlike Satsu, I've been enjoying Twitter. because that's the horrible person that I am. How are you doing, Scribe?
Well, today was part 1 of month-end billing. So it was very busy. I worked a very long day, effectively, tied to my computer with doing spreadsheets and technical issues and a whole bunch of stuff. So it's been a doozy. Part 2 and then part 3 will happen tomorrow and then on Sunday. Not really having a day off this weekend, so yippee. But elsewise, I'm fine. Thank you, tall person. Happy Put a Pillow on Your Fridge Day, everybody. In the early 1900s, people would put cloth/linen in their larders, hoping this would bring fortune and prosperity in the form of food and fertility.
2 birds, 1 stone.
There you go.
Pillow on your fridge.
That's a weird day.
That is bizarre. I liked Redhead Day. Let's just make every day Redhead Day. But with that, Monkey Dick, Jim Jones, movies, video games. Hit that like button if you haven't already, and several of you haven't, but that's okay. It's all right. Maybe you'll change your mind. And please share our stuff. Share it far, wide, and sideways. Said it before, we'll say it again. YouTube does very little to broadcast the existence of smaller and not corporate funded creators such as ourselves. So if there's a creator out there that you appreciate, be sure to tell people that they exist, whether it's us or someone else. Share their stuff, retweet their stuff. MySpace, Napster, Friendster, whatever works. AIM, ICQ, whatever the kids are using these days. Thank you, non-Vitae Rex. Would Ranting Monkey benefit from an exosuit? If so, we should probably get on that. I remember Exo Squad. Do you remember that cartoon, Exo Squad?
No.
No.
No? Oh, okay. Well, I'm old. Thank you, Snubbirth. I could respect people more if they at least admitted, quote, it was for the cause, unquote, outright. But all day they kept selling it as, we are good people, but. Are we talking about the protests?
Yeah, well, like I said before, it'd be nice if they just owned it. Like, yeah, we were pissed and we went out and we fucked shit up. That's what we did. We burned shit down. We stole shit. Fuck these people. We don't give a fuck. I'd be like, oh, well, okay, that's what happened.
Yeah. And some might say the chickens have come home to roost because multiple officers responding to protests in Atlanta outside the CNN Center. And if you've been watching the videos that have been coming out lately in the last 30 minutes, an hour or so, the CNN Center down in Atlanta has had its windows smashed in, a restaurant nearby is being looted, and so on and so on.
All right. And one thing I want to clarify, or at least just put out there in the air so everybody, at least myself, I can say that I have acknowledged this. In most of these situations, what happens is protesters show up, they peacefully demonstrate, and then all hell breaks loose when another group shows up. Mm-hmm. That's what's been happening almost consistently across the country. A lot of the stuff that I've been saying have been kind of conflating the two and just claiming that, this whole thing is either one or the other. And I feel like I need to verbalize that there is a difference between the protests that start and the riots that ended. Mm. There is definitely a difference, and the people right now who are doing those peaceful protests and the riots that took place at night, those people are back cleaning up the area, or at least trying to do what they can to clean the area up. So it is what it is. I just wanted to make sure that I personally said that because I haven't been representing that properly.
Okay. Well, with that disclaimer out of the way, yeah, it's been a very, very busy day for protests around the country. I'm just going to scroll down through their little alerts thing here and look at a few headlines. Let's see. So aside from the CNN building being attacked, destructive demonstrations.
Yes.
That was the phrase that I was introduced to today. Destructive demonstrations. Atlanta mayor and police chief to address the media concerning the demonstrations. That was posted 22 minutes ago. So far as I know, the press conference hasn't begun, but If it does and they say something about it, I'll report it here. The Houston mayor says the police and community is not the enemy of each other. Well, depends on who you are, I suppose. Let's see, what other? Protesters kneel in front of police in Minneapolis. This is after last night when a police precinct was burned to the ground. It was happening, I think, just after, or at least it was reported just after we ended the show last night, which was all sorts of fun to watch. Thank you, Angry Illinoisian, again. Jeez. Wish tomorrow was a nipple stream so I could make the lady laugh. Your lady, Monkey.
You'd have to talk to her about that.
Are you still game for doing nipple streams?
How do you mean?
Well, like, if one came up, would you go for it, or are you too weak now to take it?
No, shit, I ain't too weak to take it. That's why I'm He-Man, man.
And what is the bounty on a monkey butt slap again? Was it $200?
200, yeah.
$200, yeah. All right, so let's see what else happened. Well, let's talk about the most direct news in the George Floyd situation. The Minneapolis under curfew after ex-officer who knelt on George Floyd's neck charged with third-degree murder, which I found honestly kind of surprising. But I guess we'll see if the article explains it more than I understood it previous. The mayor of Minneapolis imposed a curfew Friday after the county prosecutor charged the fired Minneapolis police officer seen in a video with his knee on George Floyd's neck with third-degree murder. Derek, is it Chauvin or Chauvin?
I've heard it as Chauvin, but I couldn't tell you.
Okay, I'll go with Chauvin in the absence of something else. Chauvin also faces a charge of second-degree manslaughter. Floyd's family and their attorney, Benjamin Crump, are upset Chauvin wasn't charged with a more serious offense. Quote, "We expected a first-degree murder charge. We want a first-degree murder charge, and we want to see the other officers arrested," Crump and the family said in a statement. I don't think even in the video situation you can call out first-degree murder. Second-degree murder, I think, is actually doable. I'm kind of surprised they didn't go with second rather than third.
I linked out Nick Ricada's video on this.
Mm-hmm.
And he's actually a lawyer in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
And he talked about that very thing. He didn't really touch on second too much, but he was really adamant about why they went for third.
Okay.
And third is because you do not want to overshoot and give these guys a way out. You can look at the video, and third degree is pretty much to me. Let me throw that out there. To me, it's like that fits. There's no getting around that. That absolutely fits.
Yeah.
And it's better to get some justice than none.
But I don't know. Is rolling the dice like that really justice?
Yes.
I mean, undershooting the possibility just to try to ensure a conviction.
Undershooting the possibility when they're still guilty of that, then yeah. It would be different if he wasn't guilty of this and they were setting it up that way just so they could get that. They're doing this, at least the thinking from everything I've seen is because they know that fits. There's no stretch to first degree where you have to prove intent, you know?
I get that. I mean, but the threshold for proving intent for second isn't, I mean, okay. And I don't know the rationale of the lawyers, and I'm not a lawyer myself, but from my reading of second degree, and I put this on Twitter earlier, I would argue that given his position, I don't mean physical position, but as a police officer, his training and everything else, there's very, as far as I'm concerned, there's very little room to argue that he could not have known or could not have foreseen that 7 minutes of leaning into someone's neck with a knee and then protesting they couldn't breathe for 7 minutes plus was not a foreseeable, reckless act that led to this person's death.
Well, I think that's going to come down to the autopsy that's coming out.
Yeah.
Showing no asphyxiation, so his throat wasn't actually crushed. There was still air. Whether or not it was enough to keep him alive or anything, that's obviously no, there wasn't. But I think you go with the easier charge to prove because it still fits, and you go in there and you give them a reason to be like, no, he didn't actually do that. Maybe you file second and third. I don't know if you can do that in the state because they did file third degree and manslaughter.
Yeah, second-degree manslaughter. I don't know if you can go without two different deaths. You can't. Yeah, I don't. Like I said, I'm not a lawyer, but I think that's kind of how it works. Thank you, Sanguine. First degree is a walk. Plain and simple, since they would have to prove premeditation, which they have effectively no chance of doing. Well, that's why I said first degree murder doesn't make a lot of sense, and I don't understand. Sorry.
Hold that thought.
Yeah, because aren't we forgetting something?
Yeah, we just found out yesterday that they do know each other, so it is possible eventually they could prove first degree.
Right.
But with what we know for a fact right now, yes.
Right. That's what I mean. Yeah, I mean, if there's some revelation down the line, they can always up the charges. I guess that also leaves them the possibility of at least putting out there for PR purposes he's being charged. And of course, if something comes out in the meantime, they could always up the charges.
Yeah.
But I'm just the Benjamin Crump, this family's attorney, saying we want first degree murder charge. Well, again, unless they know something we don't, which is possible. You got to have premeditation to be able to prove that effectively, and that's going to be rough, at least right now.
And I get you, but I also don't blame them for being emotionally wanting first degree.
No, I
understand that completely.
Yeah, on an emotional level, I do. But thank you, Johnny Hellcat. I foresee a very expensive wrongful death suit. Well, that on top of it, certainly, regardless, that's going to happen, both against the cop and the city and the county, probably. I mean, across the board. But who knows what happens if this guy gets off on this. Thank you, Professor Chaos. Premeditation only takes a few seconds. It does not require prolonged planning. You can form an intent premeditation when pulling a gun on someone. True, but proving it in a court of law in a situation such as this, at least with the information we have at present, that is a steep hill to climb. And
you have to. I'm sorry. You have to prove what he was thinking in that moment.
Right, and if you take that, hold on. If you take that shot and you miss with first degree, you can't try it again.
Right. This isn't pulling a gun.
Yeah.
Sure. Pull the gun, hold it there for a second, and then I'm going to pull the sure. That you can go, all right, there's state of mind there. You can't prove the state of mind here.
All right.
Unless there's something on the body cam footage, which I really, really, really want to see now.
Right. And as far as I know, isn't body cam now mandatory in Minneapolis or at least Minnesota? Maybe
I don't know, but they did have body cam. It's in the arrest affidavit thing. They talk about the body cam footage.
Yeah, that they're probably sitting on that right now until they can be sure. Well, I'm guessing it would probably inflame things even more if they released it right now, but we'll see. Thank you, Snubbirth, and people in hell want ice water. Yeah. Anyway. So that's the latest on that. Third degree murder as of right now. Obviously, the prosecutors could always up the charges if more information comes out. So, yeah, I mean, pragmatically speaking, I get that this is a safe call if they're going to try to prosecute on this and they get nothing else in the meantime, or if it becomes muddled as to trying to prove intent or anything else. But I was kind of surprised that their opening bid was third degree, but we'll see what happens.
Okay, something really weird just happened.
Oh,
what happened?
My phone just rung, and this is the second time I've seen this number today. So I picked it up because I'm just like, who the fuck is this? Why are they calling me? And it was a reporter calling to see if I actually recorded footage that had taken place, the footage that I posted that took place during the riots.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Can you say what outlet they're from?
They didn't specify, but I was like, it wasn't me, and then I hung up.
Wow.
Because how did they get my number is the major question that's going through my head right now. But that was kind of weird.
Huh.
They probably went to your it's a real roundabout way. I don't want to say it on. I'll talk to you offline.
Yeah.
All right.
But can I just bring up one more thing about the whole thing there?
Uh-huh.
In the arrest affidavit, there's a weird line, a really weird line, where they mention pulling him out of the car.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it's weird because it almost feels like there's something missing before there. So that's going to be an interesting part of this case too. If he was already in the car and they pulled him back out for non-compliance, I'm interested to see what happened.
And you mean pulling him out of a police car?
Yes.
Now, not his car. That had already happened at that point. But
no, they specifically mentioned that Chauvin pulled him out of the car after they had talked about getting him into the police car.
Thank you, formerly Rod Lyon. Have you been seeing what's going on at CNN HQ? Yeah, we talked about it at the top of the show. I don't know what's going on right this minute or in the last 10 minutes or so, but there was windows being broken and looting of a restaurant right next to the building or the building's restaurant. I'm not quite sure what it was. I don't know if it's getting any worse, but
it set a car on fire. I don't know if you'd seen that.
No, outside CNN?
Well, yeah, the police moved them down because out right in front of the building now has been cleared.
Mm-hmm.
And all the protesters are just down the road a little bit. And yeah, they set a car on fire.
Oh, great. Thank you, Sanguine. The most likely mechanisms of death are 1, incomplete strangulation, 2, hypoxia, 2, anoxia, 2, arterial pinch, or 3, venous pinch. Yeah, well, we'll have to wait for the full autopsy to come out, I guess, to see what it is. But the preliminary stuff I was reading was that it was things other than actual suffocation or strangulation.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. Moving on. Not necessarily to brighter news, but since the subject of accuracy in numbers has come up quite a bit the last couple of days regarding COVID-19 on this show, this is from today. Study shows 10 times more New Yorkers had COVID-19 by April than previously counted. 10 times. By the end of March, 1 in 7 New York adults had COVID-19. I guess they mean the actual disease, not just the virus, the actual disease the virus causes. About 10 times higher than the official account, according to a new study sponsored by the New York State Department of Health. This adds to a growing body of evidence that the virus was much more prevalent early on in the outbreak than health officials thought at the time. Quote, every public health person and infectious disease person in the country is going to line up and say, yes, for sure, there's no doubt about that, said William Schaffner, a longtime advisor to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. He added, however, that there's another side to this report. It shows that even in New York, which had already suffered a sizable outbreak by the end of March, the vast majority of residents were uninfected and therefore still not immune to the virus. Quote, this study illuminates that a large portion of the population was susceptible and can indeed await potential infection down the road this summer and especially this winter, said Schaffner, an infectious disease expert at Vanderbilt University Medical Center. In an effort to figure out how many New Yorkers already had COVID-19, Department of Health staffers went into 99 grocery stores in different regions of the state in April and did finger pricks on 15,101 adult shoppers who volunteered to participate in the study. Those blood tests show that 1,887 of them had antibodies to the novel coronavirus, meaning they had been infected in the past. So remember, this is how many people were infected with the disease, not how many people died of the disease.
Right.
So if you increase the number of people that have had it, but you don't increase the number of people that died from it, that's also interesting. But I don't know if we get to there yet. Let's see. After statistical adjustment and extrapolation, the researchers estimated that more than 2 million New York adults had been infected by the end of March. That's 14% of all New York adults, or 1 out of 7. The study is believed to be the first statewide antibody survey. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has mentioned preliminary results of the study in a press briefing. The study also shows that communities of color were disproportionately affected by COVID-19. Among those who had antibodies, 36.6% are Hispanic and 20.2% are Black, which is higher than their proportions in the New York population. The study was posted on the preprint server medxiv.org, which means it wasn't peer-reviewed or published in a medical journal. Oh, okay. Well, that's a bit disconcerting. You make a headline out of that, but okay. Thank you, Sanguine. Each study like this tanks the mortality case rate. Well, and as we have to do again, is even this study reliable? I don't know. Hasn't been reviewed, hasn't been double-checked by anybody, so... But it's one more piece of the puzzle of confusion in the whole thing, so there you go.
Yes, because we needed more confusion.
Yeah. And I'm still quite suspicious of whether or not what my parents came home from Europe with last fall wasn't COVID-19 or something, because it was so bizarrely powerful how sick they got, and it was completely out of the norm of their usual, health routine. That I'm still suspicious that they weren't already infected at that point. But going from, estimated sickness and misery and death and everything else, let's talk about actual proven misery, shall we?
Indeed.
That doesn't seem like a positive change.
Well, we'll find out. This is maybe gallows humor, depending on how you look at it.
We do have a birthday. Do you want to wait and do it after the story or now?
Oh, let's do it before, just to lighten the mood a bit before we get to this bizarre, awful story.
Frosted Glass a moment ago asked, he said, I'm not going to be here tomorrow, so I need to know if birthday cake is allowed in the corner. Frosted's birthday is tomorrow. Won't be here for it, so I want him to be able to hear us sing to him. Frosted, you pain in the ass. Love you, bud, and this one's for you. And one. And a two. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, hello, Satan.
Happy birthday to you.
Nice of you to join us.
Happy birthday, dear Frosted Glass. Corner.
And happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, sir. I do hope you enjoy it. Stay safe.
And thank you, Toxic Nightshade. Just sending a bit of love your way. Aw, thank you, Toxic Nightshade. There's an NES game called, I think it was called Nightshade. And it was this sort of, you were sort of like a street level superhero in a fictional town kind of thing. And you had to fight some Egyptian god-based supervillain. And it was sort of like an early point-and-click adventure game, but it was on the NES. It was very bizarre. But I like the cover art of the box. Always struck me like that. That'd be a cool TV show. Since I was talking about Exo Squad earlier, I just thought I'd bring up something else from the distant past that people have to Google just to have an idea of what I'm talking about. Also, Visionaries. You guys remember Visionaries with the holograms on their chest? I remember Visionaries. Anyway, the story. In a brilliant scheme, a woman kept her grandmother's body hidden in a basement freezer for 16 years in a Social Security scheme.
Bro.
Yeah.
You lazy as fuck to take your grandma's Social Security for 16 years. Is that the wrong takeaway?
There's one way to look at it.
I mean, she's also lazy for not doing something with the body in 16 years. Like,
at least bury it.
I wonder if she kept the ice cream right next to it.
Oh.
Like in Goonies?
Yes.
It's so stiff. Last year, police in Pennsylvania found old human remains in a freezer. Now, an investigation has concluded that it was all part of a scam to collect Social Security checks. Pennsylvania State Police first found the remains in February of 2019 in a house in Dillsburg, according to a news release from the police. After investigating, they identified the deceased as Glenora Delahaye, born May 3rd, 1906. Jeez. Cynthia Black, Delahaye's granddaughter, has now been arrested and charged with theft by unlawful taking, receiving stolen property, and abuse of a corpse. Black reported that she found her grandmother's body in their Ardmore home in 2004 and told police her family needed the income Delahaye received from Social Security. She put Delahaye's remains in a freezer that was kept in the basement of the Ardmore home. Then, in 2007, Black transported Delahaye from Ardmore to the home in Dillsburg using Delahaye's Social Security income to pay the mortgage. An arrest warrant was issued Tuesday, and Black was taken into custody Wednesday. Let's see. Black has been released on an unsecured $50,000 bail. Was that paid for with Social Security money by any chance?
Oh my God.
Thank you, Jaeger Pony. No comment, but I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
I'm kind of weirded out by this.
especially when she moved the body, she like packed it up and took it somewhere else to maintain the. Jesus.
Did she use like Ziploc bags for that?
Oh, you see, I'm just imagining this like huddled up little mummified husk in the middle, in the corner of a.
Hello, you wonderful people.
Oh, hello, Lady Monkey.
Hi.
Wait, how come when she interrupts you talking, she gets "Hello, Lady Monkey," and I get "God damn it"?
Because she's pretty.
Time you talk, we all say, "God damn it."
Because she's nice and friendly, and she's got a pretty voice.
She just insulted me, and you're calling her nice and friendly.
Hey, you just completely shit on my compliment to you earlier.
But that was about me.
Thank you, Shrouded Angel, for the game over hippo ghost. Yeah, I guess that's kind of appropriate. What'd you say?
She said hi, chat.
Oh. Dangerous Spaces. Theft by unlawful taking. Is there theft by lawful taking? Isn't that the very definition of theft? That's called taxation. But if you're one of those, libertarian types, you believe that, I suppose. But with that, we're going to move on to the wonderful world of MSS News. So, guys, if you have news stories you'd like us to read on the air, please send them to us via Twitter using the hashtag MSS News. Can't promise we'll get to them all, but that's because Satsu deleted Twitter from his phone.
Wait. Huh?
I don't know. I didn't promise it'd make sense.
See and hear you.
Yes, everybody can see and hear me.
See? I can see you.
That's what she just said. I don't know.
Oh. Wait, is there something we're not supposed to be hearing?
I don't know.
Was she making kissy faces at you?
Do you want to hear so you can know what's going on?
No, pardon me for interrupting. I'm getting the look. I have to go. I've overstayed my welcome.
Bullshit.
No, he's shooing. Can't see it, but he has his hand up, literally shooing me.
You are a horrible person. This is the woman who laughed at me falling on my face today.
I don't think I laughed.
I don't.
That was very entertaining. So maybe not laugh, but you were
It
entertained.
was entertaining. It was like a slow motion drama. Like, oh, is he dead? No, damn, he's still alive.
Oh, fuck.
All y'all who are calling her nice, listen to this shit.
Damn, even Squishy ain't that mean.
Good night, chat. Good night, Satsu. Good night, Scribe.
Love you, monkey.
Love you, baby.
Love you.
Giant little butt was here.
Giant little butt.
Giant little butt?
I said little butt.
Mm-hmm.
Who's giant little butt?
Own version of your granddaughter busting in here.
I'm pretty sure her giant ass right there.
You heard what you wanted to hear.
That's uncool.
I like your ass.
Uncool.
Shake it, baby.
Uncool.
Okay, Johnny Hellcat, thank you. Press X to doubt. Hashtag I stand with monkey. Well,
Thank
I'm glad you do because monkey can't.
I can't stand for myself, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, there you go. He needs somebody to lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend.
I'll help you carry on.
Whoa.
Sorry. Take it, Satsu.
Nah.
Oh,
It won't be long
till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You can call on me. Okay, moving on. I'll just keep going if I'm not stopped by myself or someone else. Okay, this one comes from Dear Christ in Heaven, Frosted Glass.
Oh, I thought you were saying it came from Dear Christ in Heaven. I like
No, that was not a description or a adoration of Frosted Glass. That was just an exclamation on my part. So, quote, this is from slate.com. Don't we feel fancy? When the looting starts, the shooting starts. President Donald Trump's warning to the protesters in Minneapolis is steeped in racism, and history shows that as police policy, it only leads to more violence.
Dude, you have to be an absolute fucking moron to think that was a warning.
Yeah.
It was absolutely not. But
yeah, as far as I understood it, he was reacting to the story about the pawn shop owner shooting somebody.
Exactly. But no, it was a warning.
Thank you, Jaeger Pony, so much. Wow. Use it to buy it for a friend of the stream. I suggest the new Shantae. By it? Ooh, tell me what I'm meant to use that for. By it. Did I miss something? I obviously missed something. Clarify, Jaeger Pony. I need instructions. What's that meant for?
Instructions.
Let's see. Early Friday morning, the President of the United States warned residents of Minneapolis via a tweet that they better calm down. Quote, when the looting starts, the shooting starts, unquote. Amid uproar and after Twitter's official Hold on. Let me at least finish the sentence. Amid uproar and after Twitter's official condemnation of the tweet's language, Trump tweeted a clarification later on Friday. Quote, looting leads to shooting, and that's why a man was shot and killed in Minneapolis on Wednesday night. I didn't want this to happen, and that's what the expression put out last night means, unquote. Proceed.
He didn't put that out as a warning to the people. He said that specifically. He was talking about what was going on and what he had said to the mayor or to the governor and how the mayor needs to get his shit together. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The part that kills me is they have the clarification in the article, but still worded it exactly how they wanted to beforehand.
Well, let's see what their explanation is. Though late Friday afternoon, Trump claimed he did not know the origin of the phrase. Okay. Earlier in the day, media had quickly traced the looting/shooting phrase to Walter Headley, police chief of Miami from 1948 until his death in November of 1968. Yeah, I'm sure Trump had every notion of that someone said that same phrase back then.
You know what I love about that?
What?
Even though Trump said he didn't know it, we had to look that shit up too.
Exactly. In a press conference on December 27th, 1967, commenting on a new Get Tough policy he planned to institute to police the city's black neighborhoods, Headley said, quote, we haven't had any serious problems with civil uprising and looting because I've let the world filter down. Okay, it reads the world. I'm assuming, unless that's a mistake on the speaker's part or their part, it meant word. I've let the word filter down that when the looting starts, the shooting starts. These are my orders, not 3 days after, but now. This is war. I meant it, every bit of it, unquote. And so because someone in the past said that, Trump obviously knew it was said under those circumstances and in that context, and that's exactly how he meant it, despite his clarification. Despite the context that most sane people had when they were reading that tweet in relation to the events of the night.
They provided the context in the story and still said, yeah, we don't care. He still meant it how he said he meant it. Because on top of all the things, and Trump is a complete idiot. He is a complete incapable moron who has no knowledge. He's an idiot. He can't do anything right. But he's also a historian.
They then proceed, and I'm not kidding here, for the next page. No, hold on. What? Okay, it's hard to tell pages on a website, but let's see. 1, 2, 3. For the rest of the article, they don't go into a history lesson on that guy and his policing thing. It has nothing to do with Trump. But because Trump said those words, he is now forever attached to and meant it in the same context as this giant history lesson of the late 1960s in Miami, Florida.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. All over on Twitter today, both your normal users and the press acting like everybody. I've never heard that phrase before. Had you guys?
Nope.
No, I can't say that I have.
Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. We had to look it up, guys. We had to trace it down. They actually say that in the fucking article you just read. But Trump, obviously, he knew it because he knows all the racist stuff, you guys. Keep that in mind.
All right, so Shantae is a video game of some kind.
Oh.
So, Jaeger, you wanted me to sponsor a game prize? Is that it? I mean, is that something I can do on Steam? I'm more than happy to. I don't know. You let me know, Jaeger. I'm glad to do it. Moving on. Let's see. Authority. Let's see. That's another Slate. Oh boy, Frosted Glass and Top Ramen Lewis are just all over Slate today. Let's see. This one comes from Top Ramen Lewis, obviously. Target has a long history with the Minneapolis police. Okay. As Minneapolis, wait, before I even read this, are they going to argue that Target was a justified action in looting it and destroying it because it has a history with the police?
They've already done it. I've seen this online.
Oh, okay.
Target deserved it.
Let me guess, they did fundraisers or something. As Minneapolis erupted in pain this week following the death captured on video of George Floyd at the hands of local police, one image that quickly spread across social media and news reports was the looting of a Target store in the Lake Street neighborhood on Wednesday. Though the demonstrations in the city have been largely nonviolent. When was this published? This was published today at 5:26 p.m., I'm going to assume Eastern Standard Time. So we're not talking about someone who just did this in the early hours on Friday morning or something. Or sorry, Friday morning, on Thursday morning. Okay. Take it up again. Though the demonstrations in the city have been largely nonviolent, the shattered windows and upturned shopping carts were a prelude to more extensive looting and property damage that would occur in the city on Thursday. Okay, if you had said, though the demonstrations in the city had been largely nonviolent up to that point, I might believe you. And so I'm going to assume you meant what you said, and you make no sense. There's no evidence the Lake Street Target was singled out by looters for any particular reason other than perhaps its location next to the Minneapolis Police Department's 3rd precinct, but the company has long been associated with police surveillance and Minnesota Police Department's treatment of Black and low-income residents of the city.
How?
Yeah, as the Daily Dot reported, social media users were quick to point out these connections. What connections? After the looting became national news. In 2004, the company, Target, 2004. So when the lady was freezing her grandmother. Okay. Yeah. In 2004, the company made a $300,000 donation to the city to install CCTV throughout the downtown area. Target also established the Safe Zone program that same year to help the police department with surveillance logistics. In 2004.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Target has a number of similar law enforcement programs in more than 20 cities in the U.S., though its first police partnership was in Minneapolis, where the retailer's headquarters are located. So they were giving back to their community by supporting law enforcement. I see. According to a 2014 joint report from the Department of Justice, the Police Executive Research Forum think tank, and Target, the company's former CEO, Bob Ulrich, first decided to make supporting law enforcement a priority during a crime spike in Minneapolis in the mid-1990s. The report states that Ulrich had read an article about a repeat offender whom police accidentally released from custody after allegedly raping a woman due to an information-sharing failure. So while there's no evidence that this target was singled out, you're saying that it was justified because of the company's past actions in trying to reduce crime?
Yep. Reduce crime that probably helped in some way, save the lives of many people over the course of the years. But yeah, they deserved it.
I'm trying to see if there's like a point at which they explain why they're even bothering to point this out.
Why not?
Since launching, Safe Zone has become a 501c3 nonprofit independent from Target. Okay. So in the last 16 years or 10 years or whatever, it's also expanded to include other initiatives over the years like interactive crime mapping, text tipping, and a program in which members go to court proceedings to tell the judge how seriously the community is worried about crime. 5 years after Safe Zone was founded, Allen reflected, I skipped some stuff, so the guy involved in it. Quote, we absolutely own the streets. Lifestyle offenders now know if they commit a crime downtown, they'll be prosecuted successfully because we're going to have the video to back it up. Video gave MPD eyes everywhere in downtown Minneapolis. Now video has put everyone's eyes on MPD. I am absolutely bewildered as to what the point of that article was.
To pretend that to pretend that anybody who was looting that fucking store gave a damn about that,
or had any idea or forethought about it at all, or that even if they did, that somehow that makes it understandable.
Oh, not just understandable. Okay.
I mean, if they were trying to say, look, isn't this ironic that as much work as Target has put into to preventing crime with local authorities, ta-da, I wouldn't understand that article either, but that would make more sense. Thank you, Professor Chaos. Target does a lot to help to try to reduce organized retail crime. They have their own ORC crime lab that works with law enforcement. I can't possibly imagine why that might be. Thank you, Professor. And thank you, Johnny Hellcat. Guy gets killed. Target destroyed in ensuing riot. Satsu gets odd phone call. Didn't Satsu used to work for Target? Hashtag connected. Look, I can stretch too. That's just, bizarre article. I don't even know where it's like, that's just like filler. That's like clickbait filler or something. I don't know. All right, moving on. This one comes from Massive Dynamics. Which one do I want to do? I'll do this one. Excuse me. It's like I just had one of those moments. Australian man acquitted after wait, what? The number 2. Okay, I'm going to read it as it's written. Australian man acquitted after 2 allegedly enter wrong home with machetes for sexual fantasy. Scare stranger. I'm not even sure how to interpret that. Hello?
Read it. It'll
Okay,
probably.
you guys are way too quiet. Thank you, Angry Emotion. There is no justification for it. They are full of it like anyone that was screaming Mr. Floyd's name while stashing and burning. Yeah, like I said, that article made absolutely no sense. 2 men snuck into a bedroom with machetes after being hired to carry out a stranger's sexual fantasy of being tied up in his underwear and stroked with a broom.
What now?
I think my brain just snapped. Okay. Let me try that again. 2 men snuck into a bedroom with machetes after being hired to carry out a stranger's sexual fantasy of being tied up in his underwear and stroked with a broom. Do they mean literally like just like brushed with a broom?
That would, make sense with what you're reading.
Only to discover they had got the wrong address. Okay. Now that clears things up a bit. Thank you, Frosted Glass. Target had it coming. You see what she was wearing? Oh, yeah, this season's fashions. The pair from Sydney, Australia made their apologies and left the startled victim's bedside as soon as they realized their mistake. That doesn't absolve you of what you just did. One of the men, Terrence Leroy, has now been acquitted of entering the home in July 2019, intending to intimidate while armed with an offensive weapon after the New South Wales District Court accepted his explanation. Really? Okay. Hold on. Conceding the facts of the case are unusual, Judge Sean Grant set out his reasons for the not guilty verdict, saying the evidence did not suggest the men's actions were intentional. Quote, they carried the machetes either as a prop or something to use in that fantasy, he said. The fantasy was unscripted and there was discretion as to how it would be carried out. Unquote. According to court documents, a man living in western New South Wales near Griffith, quote, wanted a broom handle to be rubbed around his underwear, unquote. He was willing to pay $5,000 if it was, quote, really good, court documents said.
If that's true, I can see the not guilty verdict. Maybe even a fine at most, but if they weren't actually trying to intimidate that guy or trying to do something to him, I get it.
It was a misunderstanding.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, I guess it just. Yeah. All right.
I wouldn't want to be the guy that they fucking accidentally broke in on. Don't get me wrong, but
Police said the intended client had, quote, history and proclivity for engaging the services of people, unquote.
Okay, so there you go.
All right. There you go.
weirdo caused a problem. Go figure.
Yeah. Moving on. Let's see. This one comes from Chicago Mike with a story, surprisingly enough, from Chicago.
Oh.
Mayor Lightfoot says, fuck you to Trump over tweet encouraging shooting George Floyd protesters. Joy. As protesters in Minneapolis, I'm always going to dramatically pause when reading that word or something similar, just because it's hilarious. As protesters in Minneapolis entered their fourth day of riots. Well, at least this author didn't sugarcoat anything.
It actually says riots. Good for them.
Yes. As protesters in Minneapolis entered their fourth day of riots, Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot had harsh words for President Donald Trump, who earlier on Friday posted a tweet suggesting gunfire be used on the protesters. I hate to tell you this, guys. Crude and crass as it was, Trump was talking about actions and consequences. He was not talking about orders or instructions. Quote, Donald Trump's comment last night was profoundly dangerous, Lightfoot said.
Yeah, that's what's dangerous.
Sorry?
Yeah, that's what's dangerous.
Yeah,
the breaking and burning shit. No.
And we must stand firm in solidarity and say this is totally unacceptable no matter who the speaker is. And we see the game he is playing because he's transparent and he's not very good at it. And I will code what I really want to say to Donald Trump. It begins with an F and ends with a U. Oh, fondue?
She's so clever.
You want to fondue? The mayor said she watched in horror. All right, what did you watch in horror? As not only the events unfolded in Minneapolis after 46-year-old George Floyd was allegedly killed by a police officer who has since been arrested and charged, but as the president tweeted a threat to shoot protesters. That's not what he did.
It makes me violently angry.
Yeah, I don't particularly take any joy in having to try to defend Trump's Twitter habits, but when something is one thing and you say it is the diametric opposite without any evidence. Thank you, Snubbirth. We in Illinois apologize that the Crypt Keeper is bothering you all. Oh, boy. Anyway, this goes on, as you might imagine, in the story. So the meat of it has been said.
No, I just have to point this out. Whatever you believe about what Donald Trump said there, if this shit doesn't stop soon, violence is going to have to come from the government. We saw people today kicking down a barricade at the White House.
Yeah, there's that too.
Walk around and rush the White House, you're going to get shot.
Yep.
At this point, I kind of don't care. Just like I really, just let it happen. Just let what happens happen. I don't care.
And no, I get you, but there's this idea out there like this. So Donald Trump is threatening. No, at some point this is going to happen, and you want in the press cheering it on.
They want it. This is what they want to happen. They need sacrifices. They need bodies. They need them, and not enough bodies are happening. So they're egging these people on. These people are going to get fucking massacred, and they're going to be like, "Yes, it finally happened. Now we can get Trump out of office."
That fucking Trump.
Yeah, and they want it. They want it. So let it happen. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, okay. I don't know how to spell fondue. Okay. You got me. I don't know. I was trying to come up with a clever rejoinder, but I couldn't. So
you don't know how to spell light switch either.
Well, wasn't that bizarre though?
It is, yeah.
For those of you that don't have any reference, and this was going to be fucketry, but Monkey just brought it up. So I was making a joke. And by the way, my Twitter, whatever, did not mark it as incorrectly spelled, but either that's beside the point. So I was making a joke. It's a picture somebody posted. They say, look what I just got. And it's a picture of a new microphone they bought. But I was more drawn to the exceedingly bright yellow light switch on the wall in the back of the photo. And so just being a snarky, stupid, whatever, jerk on the internet, I said, wow, that's a canary yellow light switch. And as I typed out the word light switch, all is one word, in lowercase letters, as soon as I hit period at the end of the sentence, the entire word light switch capitalized. And I was like, what? And I went back and tried it again. And if I typed out the word light switch and then either hit the space bar or put a piece of punctuation after it, it immediately all capitalized in capital letters, light switch. And I was like, what the hell? Now, I don't have autocorrect on my, this wasn't on my phone. This is on the app on my computer. And it'll occasionally correct things like if you misspell the word the, or you don't capitalize the word I, it'll do that kind of thing. But I've never seen it do that to an entire word before. It was really bizarre. So, yeah, maybe it was just trying to point out that I was spelling it wrong. I don't know. Didn't bother me. But anyway, moving on. Thank you, Angry and Listen. Sorry. That was one that already, I'm all discombobulated now because of light switch. That's going to become stream lore somehow now. I just know it. Oh, I got it. That is the tool I use on certain ladies' derrieres, the Scribe light switch. Get it?
I got you.
Got it? Yeah? Anyway, let's talk about dead rabbits.
I'm sorry, what?
This one comes from Desert Tramp, and this will probably be the last one before we move on, just because why not? Grand Canyon issues warning after rabbit found to be infected with deadly virus. In parentheses, it says, it doesn't infect humans. Okay. The Grand Canyon National Park is warning visitors to not approach or touch wildlife in the park. Well, tell that to Yellowstone, where they keep walking up to bison. Especially dead rabbits, after a jackrabbit was found to be infected with rabbit hemorrhagic disease, or RHDV2, a deadly disease that infects both wild and domestic rabbits. It does not infect humans. Yet, is what I would add, all things considered, but moving on. It is the first detected case of the disease at the Grand Canyon, the national park said in a news release. RHDV2 is a highly contagious and lethal viral disease amongst domestic and wild rabbits. The virus does not infect humans, but other causes of illness and mortality of rabbits can. Anyone who sees a sick or dead rabbit in the Grand Canyon, do not touch or handle the animal. Call the Wildlife Program Office. Give them the following information: date observed, species if known, location, and photo of the animal. So there you go, guys. You see a dead animal, leave it alone.
Don't touch dead animals anyway. It's weird.
Yeah. Peter Silakady says the light switch killed Scribe's dog. Yeah. Well, I always knew it might have been him. Okay, that was going to be the last one, but then I scrolled down slightly, and I can't not at least end with this because it comes from senior staff reporter and chief Florida correspondent Colleen Bernier. Plus the headline, Bride of 18, quote, I'm marrying my biological dad.
Oh, God.
A bride-to-be's wedding plans have raised eyebrows on Facebook for all the wrong reasons. The 18-year-old has disturbingly revealed that she'll walk down the aisle with her biological dad, describing it as a, quote, full-on wedding that will, quote, represent our uniqueness. The U.S. teen shared her controversial love story in an article in The Cut. That's some publication that vaguely sounds familiar, which explored the concerning topic of genetic sexual attraction. The abnormal condition, also known as consensual incest, can sometimes happen when biological parents reunite with their children after many years apart when the child has become much older. In this case, the bride-to-be explained that she began a romantic relationship with her father after he came back into her life when she was 16 after 12 years of estrangement. The teen explained that it wasn't long before they realized they had, quote, strong feelings for each other. Quote, we discussed whether it was wrong, and then we kissed, she told The Cut. Quote, and then we made out, and then we made love for the first time. That was when I lost my virginity.
That's fucking nasty.
Oh, God, no.
That's nasty.
Thank you, Sir Wolfgang. Sweet Home Alabama intensifies. And thank you, Snubber. She took looking for her father to in other men up a notch. Yeah. Revealing wedding plans, the bride-to-be, who said her mother didn't know of her relationship to her biological dad, noted that she didn't care that the union wasn't legally binding. Quote, I want it to represent our uniqueness, so we aren't doing a white wedding, she said. The color scheme is black and purple, and we are both going to wear Converse tennis shoes. He's wearing jeans and a nice dress shirt. He says he's not wearing a bow tie, but it's my wedding, and I am saying that he is. My grandmother and grandfather, my fiance's parents, are going to attend, and my grandpa will give me away.
No, you don't. No, you don't get to call him your fiance. Stop it.
The tables will have bouquets of trees without leaves to represent our marriage, which will be like a growing tree. My dress will be black.
Oh, it's gonna be so ugly.
I'm going to have a very quick funeral for whatever just died inside me. All right, I'm done.
I think I know of this girl. She's actually been around for a while. You ain't really getting married, you crazy bitch.
Oh, God. Anyway, that's all the news that I'm going to read now. We're going to move on to YouTube time. I'll go first because I don't have much. I worked on the theme for tonight, He-Man. At the same time, I also did one for the Avengers. The Avengers I'll be using on Tuesday night's show. B, I have plans to do a TED Excellence tomorrow. Should be around the usual time of 11:30 a.m. Pacific, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. If that changes, I will let you know. And C, an old friend from the past suddenly appeared in my feed today. Some of you who are veterans of my channel may recognize the name of Chris Hoff. Well, Chris Hoff has posted a video today. It is a live stream he did, so I'm going to have to cut it down and do an actual scripted video for once. I'm not going to do a commentary track because it's about half an hour long and there's lots of fluff in between. But Dr. Chris Hoff, the radical therapist, is very eager to tell us about his white identity. And I am dying to know what he has to say. I haven't watched it yet. I will be watching it and editing and scripting as I go, as I have time over the next few days. And then, yeah, I'll post a new entry to my playlist, Gnarly Counseling, takeoff of Radical Therapist. And you can find that playlist on my YouTube page. You might have to click on the created playlists link because they don't actually show you all the playlists available when you go to the playlist tab, which is the weirdest thing ever. But yeah, he was one of my early sort of frequent flyers on my channel because he put out such amazing content in his early days of his YouTube channel. In fact, I think the video I did, my video on him, the first video I did of his ended up having way more views than anything else he's ever posted on his site. I like to think that maybe I had something to do with that. Maybe. A little bit. Maybe. Anyway, thank you, Sanguine. To represent your family tree marriage, you need a telephone pole, not leafless trees. That's what I was thinking. I was like a tree without branches, like just a stick.
I feel like what they need is for their centerpiece, a set of dentures, no teeth in them, and maybe a banjo.
And thank you, Angry Illinoisian, again. And that, my friends, is how very sick mental health patients are created. Yeah, amongst other things. But
bitch. Oh God.
That is all the YouTubing I have right now. I should mention that more likely than not, and I have to say that because it's not an absolute certainty, more likely than not, I will not be, once again this week, not be able to do the Scottish Gaelic with Tailed because I'll be working Sunday morning. So, yeah, I'll just put that out there. If things change, things will change, but that is what the forecast is looking like right now.
I don't feel well compensated by your employer because, God damn, they use you a lot, man.
I
don't want you to say if you are or not. I'm just saying.
No, it's not. It's not that. It's. No use in going into the details, but the circumstances that are requiring so much of my attention and time lately are nobody's fault that we have any control over. It's a combination of client situations that you just have to fulfill because they're the client, and technical snafus that are unrelated to everything else that have caused a backlog to occur that requires a lot of specific attention. It's hard to explain without getting into details, no point in it, but it's annoying. It is temporary. Whatever temporary looks like, I don't know at this point, but it's at least going to be the next few weekends where I'm just going to have to keep going through this routine. So, and I also, as I said to these guys last night after the show, as much as I complain about the inconveniences of work and everything else, and it is a drain because it is very mind-numbing for other reasons, I ain't complaining that I got a job right now. I'm very fortunate. A lot of people I know are not so lucky, so I just want to make that clear. You know, for all my bitching, I'm glad to be able to bitch about this, given the circumstances. That all being said, Satsu, what have you been working on?
Just did some voice work for some cooking videos today. I tried to record a video earlier because I was cooking something, trying something new, and it failed miserably. So I'll be trying again at some point. But yeah, that was pretty much it. Just did some voice work for some videos that I was working on.
Colleen Bernier in the chat says, you just got $17 in super chats for that article. You're welcome. Yes. I don't know if I should be proud of that. But thank you. Thank you so much. Everybody, and your generosity as well. Whew. Still trying to get over that one. Monkey, what have you been up to?
I ain't do shit. No.
Wow.
I did a monkey in the morning, and then I did a follow-up after party to laugh at the CNN reporter getting arrested because that was funny as shit. And I had a lot of fun with that. And then in the middle of this rather lighthearted fun stream, I launched into probably my best rant on the whole situation going on with George Floyd.
Wow.
And the shitbag, bottom-feeding, pussy-ass armchair warriors who are cheering them on. This is our revolution. Get your fat ass out into the street then, you lying little pussy prick. These people annoy me to no end, and I saw way too many of them on Twitter. This is the revolution. Go fuck yourself. You're not part of this. You're sitting at home on your computer. Shut up. But yeah, I had quite the. It might have been like a full half-hour solid rant on it. And I'm pretty proud of it. You guys should go watch it. I also pissed off a lot of people. I think that is the most downvotes I've gotten while I was live for one of those. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Okay. Well, sorry, I was looking at Twitter and a whole bunch of new videos of action taking place in the various protests have popped up in the last few minutes, and things are just crazy in some places, just absolutely crazy. I mean, I know that's an understatement of the year, but Jesus. All right, well, on to, relatedly enough, fucketry time. Do I have much of anything that we haven't already discussed? We talked about that. I just wanted to point out, just for some self-promotion, I did a video quite a while back when Splinter was still around regarding an editorial they did about not calling it a riot. Their reasoning why certain instances should not be called riots when other instances are sugar-coated and such. And the hypocrisy and the double talk and everything else in that is just about verbatim to some of the things we're seeing in the last 48, 72 hours. So it's on my Twitter feed. I might have to scroll down a little bit. It's called The Peaceful Destruction, I called it, because, obviously that's what all of this is right now. So I just want to toot my own horn on that one. Other than that, everything else we've kind of already talked about, except for I did mention it, the new phrase of destructive demonstrations. A Miami police precinct station was set on fire by protesters Thursday night as destructive demonstrations raged in the city and spread across the U.S. I was like, that's how they're doing it now. Destructive. That's the best they can do without going over the line and saying riot. So scared of that word, as though it's going to change the outcome of what's actually happening. Thank you, Connor Johnson. Of all the films to come from DreamWorks Animation, The Prince of Egypt has to be my absolute favorite. I'd argue it is an underrated masterpiece.
I absolutely love that movie.
That is a very good movie. It really is. And you're probably right. Of all the DreamWorks picks that have come out, at least the animated ones, and their animation studio has not had the best track record. But Prince of Egypt, yeah, right up there. And wasn't that their first animated feature? I might be misremembering, but that I think was their first big animated feature. DreamWorks movies in general are also kind of hit or miss, except for Gladiator, which is still awesome. So anyway, that's all my fucketry, such as it is. Satsu, what do you got?
I've had some. Like I said, I deleted Twitter and Facebook from my phone, but before I did this morning, because I was up pretty early, I was talking to some people, which resulted in me deleting the shit off of my phone and had some interesting conversations. Fortunately, this Trump thing, the statement that he made, didn't come up until afterwards. But a lot of people have been highlighting that earlier in the day to say that he called the people at the other rally, the people who were protesting, the stay-in orders or whatever. He called them very good people, but he called these people thugs. And somebody had highlighted the word thugs, and they said by thugs he means the black people protesting. And I'm like, almost probably about 60% of the people I saw in every protest group were white. So unless you are willing to say, I guess the argument you want to make is he was specifically talking about the black people when he said thugs. And also when he specifically told the police to go and kill the protesters, because that's what he said, of course, he only meant the black people. Watch your shit, watch your fire, guys. Only kill the niggas. Is what he really meant, apparently. So that has been really, 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 really making me upset over on Twitter, and I've been doing a very good job in not responding because because I know it's no point, I think, at this point or whatever. But there's been some interesting hot takes. Like this one dude said, burning an American city to the ground won't bring George Floyd back. Yes. And somebody responded, bombing Middle Eastern countries won't undo 9/11. And I was like,
wow,
what a take. What a take. That was that one. Oof, that one got me. This article I saw says Minneapolis police station catches fire amid protests.
Catches fire?
Catches fire.
Not like it was standing out there with a baseball glove, just waiting for it?
Dude, the emotions were so strong out there that this place just spontaneously combusted. That's what the article said. No bullshit. It literally says the place just caught fire. Here's the interesting thing about this narrative of whether or not you should call these protests or riots or whatever. I'm hearing a whole bunch of white liberals, and specifically white liberals, because these are the people who I keep arguing with, saying that, these people are protesting, it is what it is, they're doing what they need to do or what they're supposed to be doing. It is a protest because blah, blah, blah. And then I see black activists saying, no, it is not a fucking protest. Kill everyone, burn everything down, fuck white people. We come in to destroy every fucking city we can. And I'm just like, that is an interesting contrast.
Jesus.
Like, these people are like, yes. And I swear to God, like, friends, people who I know personally are on Twitter, like, burn it down. Everything. Everything down. Burn that shit down. I don't give a fuck. Steal everything that's not bolted down. Burn the city. And I'm like, all right. Y'all need to tell y'all white allies, because I don't think they caught on really to what exactly is going on, because they still think it's a protest. And but everywhere I look, when I see black activists talking about it, or people, fighting the good fight, I guess, they're all saying like, no, this is not a protest. That shit is protest is something that's peaceful. We're not being peaceful no more. We are done with peace. It is time for action. And people are saying like, this is your moment. Pick what you want to die for, because now's the time. Like, this is the shit I'm seeing on Facebook, and white liberals are still like, no, it's peaceful protest. They just want their people to stop dying, guys. It's like, no, they want blood, dude. they want blood, and they're out to get it. But yeah, it's been a mess. But I like I said, I had to, after that ordeal, I just deleted the stuff off my phone. Also, one last thing. There was a picture of a bunch of white people, white protesters, standing in a line with their arms chained in front of a bunch of black protesters.
I saw that.
Yeah. And they said, now this is what you do with your privilege.
Oh, Jesus.
Which literally means become our meat shields.
Yeah.
Like,
It's literally the reverse of the South Park scene from the movie Operation Get Behind the Darkies.
yeah, yeah. Like, that is fascinating. People are crazy, man. And I'm torn, because it's like, I understand why people are upset, and I don't blame them for being so. And based on the stuff that's been happening and all the news articles and stuff that's been coming out of people either dying or just being manhandled by the cops, I can understand, the anger and the frustration, and the fact that some people think that sometimes you just gotta do some crazy shit to make people listen. But the sheer hatred that is spawning on both sides, it's just not helping. It's not helping the situation at all. It's actually making it significantly worse, but maybe that's the goal. I'm cynical enough to believe that that's the goal. So, but yeah, that's my fucking treat.
All right. Monkey.
Oh Lord.
You got 10 whole minutes this time.
Yeah, man. I kept it short.
Let's see. Where was that one? Because I want to start with that one, because CNN tweeted out, because Donald Trump accused the mayor of Minneapolis of being weak.
Yes.
And the mayor said this: weakness is pointing your finger at somebody else during a time of crisis.
Like Donald Trump, for instance.
Real quick, thank you, Princess Unicorn Nipples. Satsu, I'll be your meat shield.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now, just want to remind you, weakness is pointing your finger at somebody in a time of crisis. Nancy Pelosi tweeted this out a little bit ago. The president's withdrawal from WHO as it leads the fight against COVID is an act of extraordinary senseless. Again and again, he blames others and refuses to take responsibility. He needs to take that responsibility, you guys. It's almost as though she's pointing a finger because she's weak. I just love that CNN pointed that out when they have anchors and guests like near nonstop for the past 2 months blaming Donald Trump for COVID.
Yeah.
And then they're going to highlight that. That should have made them ashamed.
Shame them? Why? No.
Let's see. Clementine Ford. You guys remember her, right?
Yes.
Unfortunately.
She had to, she didn't have to, but she decided to turn down a grant from the Australian government to write her new book. Bitch actually got a grant to write her book. Now, the reason she turned it down is because she got a shit ton of backlash for a tweet where she said the disease, talking about COVID, is not killing men fast enough.
Great.
Oops.
And she was like, I don't know why people mad. She said this because she has this long thread explaining what she really meant, you guys. And she says this. Anyway, this acknowledgement isn't for the men who are looking for my reason to ignore patriarchal impact, but for the many people genuinely hurt by my words. I'm sincerely sorry, and I wish I had framed my argument in better terms and in a way that didn't compound harm. Be well.
Oh, geez. Real quick. Thank you, Cody Fry. That was an epic rant worthy of your moniker.
Thank you, sir. Thank you indeed. I wish I had framed my argument. I want to repeat what her tweet said. The disease is not killing men fast enough. Apparently, that was a misframed argument.
Is there ambiguity there somewhere?
Seems like there was, and I just missed it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Read between the lines, yo.
she turned down a grant from the Australian government that she'd applied for.
It was a gaffe, Monkey. It was a gaffe.
Just a gaffe.
Just a gaffe.
Let's see what else. We didn't talk about this. I'm surprised this one didn't come up. This is just a weird story. In India, some monkey stole a vial of COVID.
Yeah.
And ran away from a lab with it.
I said my response to that was ... 28 days later.
Yeah, no shit. I have so many questions about how this could even possibly happen.
Wait a minute. Is that why 28 days later was trending on Twitter?
Yes.
Probably, yeah, because that was I didn't know. I didn't use the hashtag or nothing, but yeah, that is effectively the initiating plot device of the movie 28 Days Later.
Yeah, me and Squishy just watched that a couple days ago. That's
funny. Oh
yeah?
Yeah. You thought 20 Days Later was funny? What the hell is wrong with you?
No. 28 weeks later, though, pisses me off.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I don't think it's a bad movie, but that family, oh, Jesus Christ.
Roger says Planet of the Apes is upon us. How dare you confuse us monkeys with apes? That is racist, sir. We are totally different species. Amy Siskin tweeted this out today. Remember the very good people with semi-automatic guns, Confederate flags, and swastikas in Michigan?
You mean the ones that left without incident? Nobody got hurt. No damage was said. Nothing was looted. No windows were broken. That group who left in compliance with the police without incident. Yeah, those horrible people. I remember those. Yeah.
Yep. Now there was one person who had a Confederate flag, a genuine person that was out there carrying it. I don't know if they were astroturfing or any of that. I know nothing about that person. But what we do know is the swastikas that these assholes tried to make a big deal about. This wasn't the protesters praising Hitler. It was them comparing Whitmer to Hitler. That is an entirely different thing. Did they have swastikas? Yes, they did. because they were comparing my governor to a Nazi and saying it was a bad thing, you dirty bitch. And this is a narrative that went out there. They had swastikas. Yes, they absolutely did. Because they were comparing her to Hitler in a negative light, you slimy sons of bitches. That is so fucking dirty. So dirty. Because it is absolutely true. But context does matter. What else do we have here? Elizabeth Warren tweeted this out. Zuckerberg went on Fox News. A hate-for-profit machine that gives a megaphone to racist and conspiracy theories to talk about how social media platforms should essentially allow politicians to lie without consequences. This is eroding our democracy. This has become a new thing for me. I've talked about it a couple of times now. If Donald Trump says anything bad about any media outlet, why is he always attacking the media? Democrats have been attacking Fox News since it started. No other news media outlets out there going, well, the way they're treating they're not letting the free press, and oh my God, they're eroding the press themselves. All the bullshit that they throw at Trump because he calls, them fake news and stuff. Nobody cares when it's Fox. It's just something that really is struck me. I'm like, odd. It's also really odd for Elizabeth Warren, of all people, to be out there talking about people being liars and racist. You stole Indian culture to get elected and to get jobs. Go fuck yourself, lady. Throwing that out there as well. There was a man caught with over $138,000 at Logan Airport.
Ooh, like cash?
Cash.
Okay.
So he misses his first flight, and then he gets another ticket, and they ask him about if he has money. And he apparently, according to the story, gave the TSA guys several different dollar amounts. First, he said he had $1,000, and he goes all the way up to $50,000. And turns out it's $138,000 in bagged money. And apparently he was flying to a known drug location. Here's the problem. They confiscated the money. He would have had to sign for it to get it back and do something. I don't know the exact process, but he refused to sign for it, just left $138,000 there. That's fine that he left, but you didn't have proof of any kind of crime. And while I have no doubt in my mind this motherfucker was probably up to something, until he does it, it's not a crime.
He didn't declare the money?
I don't know if like I said, he reportedly told them several different dollar amounts that he had.
Yeah, I mean, if he lied about how much money he had on him and didn't declare how much he was on his person and stuff, that's at least reasonable suspicion to inquire further at an airport.
It's my right to lie to people. Now, unless he's in a crime, I'm sorry. I am tired of civil forfeiture crap. This bullshit where the government can just take your shit and then you have to prove you didn't do anything wrong. That is very contrary to our system of justice. And it needs to stop. Just my opinion on it. Needs to stop because they're getting away with taking a lot of shit. And I guess the last thing, that one, there was a tweet from Trump yesterday that got, last night, that got hidden by Twitter. They actually hid one of his tweets and there's a little thing there that says, hey, this is a bad tweet. It violates our terms and they said it was over glorifying gun violence, that it glorified gun violence. And so they hid it. They didn't take it down, but they hid it. Because, it's glorifying gun violence. Apparently glorifying the fuck out of everything that's going on in, say, Minneapolis right now, fine. Yeah. Absolutely okay. And this wasn't the looting starts thing. This was, I'm going to send the military in if you guys don't stop. If you don't get in there and do something, you're going to force my hand to where I have to. I'm the president of the United States. I can't let the fucking cities burn. Yeah. You can glorify the fuck out of violence. The president can't, because that was glorifying gun violence. You guys are fucking. Jack is doubling down because Jack retweeted it. Jack really, really wants to get his ass kicked in court and destroy the 230 protections, because that's what's going to come of this. Good job. That's all I got.
Alrighty. Well, perfect timing because it's the bottom of the hour, and thus it's chat time. So, guys, if you have questions, comments, concerns, complaints, conspiracy theories, there was something else I was going to say, but it suddenly slipped my mind, so I'll just let it go. Put them in the chat now. If you have questions for us, please put plenty of chat marks after those so we know it's for us. If you have statements for us to consider, please put plenty of statement marks after those. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, those are question marks and exclamation points. I actually explained it for once. There you go. Let's see. Dangerous Spaces. Lords of the Night. They said the words riots. Good for them. How bad has the media got that we actually congratulate people for describing things for what they actually are? Well, when it doesn't happen very often, I'll take what I can get. Doesn't necessarily, I mean, it's not the greatest, compliment ever, but it's what it is, I suppose. Harvest Marvels. Is it possible he had even more than that they didn't catch, which is why he left that large amount behind, Monkey?
Is it possible? Sure. But if he's like a mule or something, you don't leave a drug dealer's $130,000 at the fucking airport.
P-Dog Knight's in the chat. Hello, P-Dog Knight. Hello, lords and ladies, he says.
Hey, P-Dog, how you doing, man?
Tackle Pekka says Sonic Blasts or Dairy Queen Blizzards. I don't know that I've ever had a Sonic Blast, so I guess just Dairy Queen by default.
Isn't it Sonic Blast like a? I don't think I've had one, but isn't it like a watery Slurpee?
I don't know. Pirates Crease says Scribe. When are you going to do a Power Rangers theme? I never really watched Power Rangers as a kid, so it doesn't have any particular sentiment for me, but I suppose it's possible. Who knows? We'll see. Stargazer Nuts asks, gaming tonight? I think that's a no for Satsu, right? You're off gaming for the time being?
Yeah.
Yeah. Monkey, are you gaming or nothing?
I'll check my internet, see if it's working, and if so, yeah, but my upload speeds, I don't know why they're supposed to be checking it out for me. Why the upload speeds are so bad, especially when the download speeds have been like ridiculously good.
Okay. Cannibalistic Wizard, when will Biden drop the N-bomb, or will he just be Biden his time? I have no idea what that man's going to say next. I'm like I said before, I'm more curious to find out what happens when he actually gets into a far more sort of adversarial, stressful situation / debate with someone, because all of his greatest hits during the campaign were when he was being confronted by somebody at a town hall meeting and he actually had to try to think on his feet under a stressful confrontation with someone, verbal confrontation, and he lost it. So him on a stage with Trump, please let that happen at some point, is going to be the real thing I'm looking forward to seeing what happens there.
In fairness to Biden, I don't know that I don't know that there's ever been any indication that Biden has actually spoke that way. Now, no. Well, hang on. If you're looking for something like that, look for more like, when is he going to say colored people?
Yeah,
or darkies or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever heard him even accused of using an N-bomb, not even when Kamala was going at him.
Yeah. Let's see. Humble Clay says, for Satsu, enjoying Tower of God.
What?
I don't know. Is it an anime or something?
Tower of God. Oh, wait. I think that is an anime. I
usually assume any weird named thing is an anime when they talk to you about it.
Well, this one in particular, if I'm remembering correctly, what this one is very important for the anime community overall, because it is one of the first. There was a website that was very popular for making webtoons, just like user-made kind of comic books or whatever on the website. It was one of the first ones to actually be made into a show and put on a major thing like Crunchyroll.
Mm-hmm.
So if it takes off, it could mean really big things for people who have been getting into the webtoon scene or whatever, and open up the window for a lot more different, types of anime that people aren't really accustomed to. So I haven't checked it out yet, but it looks interesting, so I will.
Non-Vitae Rex, Lords of the Night, what is the film at the top of your movies I need to see before I die list? Well, I think everybody knows what my answer is.
Mine should be pretty obvious, too.
Yeah, so Monkeys is going to be, and I'm guessing, Officer and a Gentleman.
Definitely.
Mine,
I was going to throw things like Casablanca should be up there, and Trading Places. Watch it, people.
Well, obviously, The Hunt for Red October. Beyond that, if I had to throw a second one in there, first one came to mind, Iron Giant. I love the Iron Giant.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Still never seen it.
Really? Oh, I think you'd like it. It's really good. Let's see. X43902. Are lockdowns in part to blame for how many riots have erupted in major cities? I'm sure the overall pent-up frustration, etc., hasn't helped the situation, but I don't know if it's to blame. No.
I'm just going to say a flat no. No.
Yeah.
No.
Motto Winter. Oh lords, would y'all try a slice of multicolor grape pie with a scoop of French vanilla ice cream? Grape pie.
Doesn't even sound good.
No, it doesn't. Like, I'm thinking of like green grapes is my first reaction. I'm thinking, if those were in a pie, is that something that's done? Are there grape pies?
I've never seen a grape pie. I'm not saying they don't exist, but
yeah. I'm gonna have to say a no to that one, just on first blush. Satsu?
A grape pie? No,
grape pie, multicolored. So I'm assuming like green grapes and red grapes and purple grapes.
The concept of a not cold grape is just terrifying to me.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Let's see. Advocatus Diaboli. Odds there will be a, quote, tragic accident, unquote, with tomorrow's rocket launch.
Well, check the SpaceX thing. They're going to try again tomorrow.
When you put tragic accident in quotations, are you like implying there's going to be like sabotage or something?
I think that's the implication, yeah.
Well, I certainly hope not.
Oh, I just remember something, guys. You guys remember they were saying CNN was being attacked?
Their headquarters in Atlanta, right?
Yeah. Somebody actually put up a post and said, hey, look, I understand you guys are angry or whatever, even though I don't necessarily support, this type of violence or actions or whatever. I don't think you guys should be attacking CNN. They aren't the enemies. You guys should be attacking Fox. Oh, okay. Well, priorities are straight.
Yeah, principles. What are those? P-Dog 9 says, "Sweet Jesus, protesters have attacked CNN." Oh, dude, they the big CNN logo outside is all covered in spray paint graffiti. The windows were smashed. The restaurant there was looted. The entrance had fireworks thrown into the lobby. It's just bedlam over there right now.
I know CNN's probably like, dude, but we're like kissing your asses right now.
No kidding.
I love all the people who are like, Frankenstein comes home to, or the monster comes home to Frankenstein.
Yeah. Let's see. Frosted Glass. You guys ever see The Lion in Winter with Peter O'Toole and Katharine Hepburn? Yes, many years ago. It's a classic. That's just a really good movie. So yes.
I'm not.
Check your logic. Should I be surprised none of the fucketry had to do with the arrest of Omar Jimenez? Monkey talked about that.
I almost called her Squeeze. I am Squishy. Squishy says hello.
Hi, Squishy. Monkey mentioned it in his fucketry. So, let's see. Peter Silakides, why did that CNN guy get arrested? Well, according to the state police, it's because they didn't identify themselves as journalists, which is utter nonsense.
That is nonsense.
Yeah, that was their public explanation as to why they arrested them, is they had to confirm that they were with the media. When they're standing there with a full camera crew, and they got their press passes out. And if that was their reason for arresting him, that is bullshit on its face. Everybody's talking about, oh, they refused to move or something. It's like, well, I don't know about the whole moving thing. It sounded like the guy was asking them, where do you want us to move? But if their public explanation was they couldn't tell if they were actually journalists or not, yeah, nonsense.
The whole part about them asking, because he did go, where do you want us to move? Where do you want us to move? Nobody else in the street had to be told to get the fuck out of the street. Nobody else. And just because you have a press pass doesn't give you special permissions. He still stayed standing in the middle of the street. And not only did he stay, and this is why I actually support him being arrested. That motherfucker started his story again in the middle of you need to move. Well, just tell us where to move. We'll move. Just tell us where to move. We'll move. And then he goes into his goddamn story still. At that point, I'm like, fuck it. He didn't move. I don't think he planned to move. Fuck that guy.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, that's saying some people are saying that he did that because he knew he'd get arrested and it would make headlines. So that's what some people are saying. I don't know if that's true. They're like, he knew he was going to get arrested if he didn't move, so he stood there so he could. So that way, they'd have something to talk about.
No. Like I say, their publicly stated reason on their Twitter account was that they needed to confirm that they were with the media. So
that would make sense that they arrested all of them.
Yeah, but they didn't. Seeing how annoying it is that TEDx talks often cite Martin Luther King, how ungodly annoying is it that King is being quoted for rioting by millions? Truth be told, I actually did a video on that similar subject like last year or the year before or something. It was in response to the Ferguson riots where this commentary was talking about how Martin Luther King and Black Lives Matter were really on the same page when it came to resistance. So again, past is prologue. I'll dig up the link to that video and put it on Twitter after the show. None of this is new. None of these arguments, none of these apologetics, none of these justifications or rationales are new. We've seen this all before in the very, very recent past. So it is annoying, but it's also not at all surprising. Not at all. Let's see. Tazzy says, oh, Lord, CNN were in a bind when George Floyd died because up until then, every single death in the U.S. had been from COVID, according to them. Let's see. An American Cal Scribe Light, sue for wrongful arrest. I don't know. CNN will probably take some kind of legal action. Wouldn't be surprised. Mr. Scott, favorite Canadian YouTuber? Oh, I'd have to think for a second if I know the nationality of some of the YouTubers I watch. My favorite Canadian YouTuber. Oh, probably Blind Press or Genty Maxi.
The one speedrunner I watch is Canadian. So.
Oh, who's that?
The box suit dude that does the horror games or whatever.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he's Canadian.
I watch for speedrunning. I watch Draku. I think he's Swedish, something like that, maybe.
I don't like no dirty Canadians.
Oh, okay. Well, you heard it here first, guys. Just so you know.
Oh my God. You had just mentioned that. I was scrolling down and it says a riot is the language of the unheard. Martin Luther King Jr.
Non-Vitae Rex, thank you. I should have worded that differently. I meant movies you yourselves haven't seen yet. Oh, See It Before I Die movie. Gosh. Is there a movie I've just avoided this whole time? I don't know. If I have a hankering to see a movie, I just usually find it, or buy a copy if I don't have it, I guess.
A good Star Wars sequel.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Potential movies, dream movies. Yeah. The sequel to Buckaroo Banzai. Buckaroo Banzai versus the World Crime League. I want to see that before I die.
Oh my God, these motherfuckers work fast. Holy shit.
What's that?
I'm sharing my screen.
Oh, okay. Let me get that square here. Get to this. Oh, oh, geez.
They work fast. Holy shit.
Well, why did they bring up that police guy in '67 or whatever if they had George Wallace they could go to?
I'm not. I think they have that wrong.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, but yeah, because I mean, if Slate could draw a line from Trump to George Wallace, they sure as hell would. The fact that they had to go to some police chief in Florida from the '60s is like,
I read about this, and I know there was somebody else who said it, but I didn't think maybe it was Wallace.
Okay.
Huh.
Let's see. Mr. Scott, Satsu, would you do a cook-off challenge against Sinatra? Oh.
Sure, but can Sinatra cook?
Ooh, you could do like a dual stream, or like he could come over to your place or something, and it could be like showdown in Ofrio.
Never said it again.
Oh,
That's not okay.
I thought it was funny. Keeverdam, did you see that apparently Derek Chauvin's next door neighbors had no idea that he was a cop? Nope. But I don't know how. I can't say that I know my neighbors well enough to know what their occupations are. So wouldn't surprise me, I suppose. Let's see. Mata Winter. Oh lords, did you know the Dead Rabbits was the name of an Irish American criminal street gang active in Lower Manhattan in the 1830s to 1850s? Yeah, you know why I know that? Because of Gangs of New York, the movie, which is kind of overblown, except for certain performances, which I still enjoy, but it was a bit long. You guys ever see Gangs of New York?
I've not seen it. It's one that I may watch eventually, but it didn't get the best reviews from people that I trust on such movies.
Yeah. Let me see something real quick. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, the only reason really to watch that movie is for Daniel Day-Lewis, but it's a Leonardo DiCaprio vehicle, and it's like 2.5 or 3 hours long or something because Scorsese went nuts. It's got a lot of interesting segments and things, and if you can sit through a lot of it, you can see all the artistry they did and the costuming and the sets and all that stuff. But the star of the show is Daniel Day-Lewis. It really should have been just a movie about Daniel Day-Lewis's character as an anti-hero, sort of There Will Be Blood kind of thing. But but unfortunately, Leonardo DiCaprio is in there with a really well, his accent travels from scene to scene. it's a little bad. It's a little bad. And Cameron Diaz trying to do like an Irish accent throughout the entire film is a little off-putting. It's like, I didn't quite nail it. Let's see. Attack Alpaca. I saw Dr. Pepper combined with cream soda in the grocery store today. Does that sound appealing, particularly describe the Dr. Pepper whisperer? I'm not a cream soda fan to begin with. I mean, I don't hate it per se by itself, but it's not something I go after. Combining it with Dr. Pepper, no, that's just wrong. I did have a recommendation of a different kind of mixed drink to attempt. It's more expensive, but I'm told that it's better. It's a very specific whiskey, which I've never looked for, so I don't know if I could even have access to it. But I guess it's like a British whiskey or something. It's called like Four Roses, I think it's called. And the guy said 4 roses and Coke. So I'm going to, next time I go to the grocery store, I will see if it's even available. He says it's more expensive but worth it. I'm like, well, how expensive we talking? You know, because if a fifth of this stuff is going to cost me $60 or something, probably not. But we'll see. Robert Lang, Scribe Light, was the show you mentioned at the beginning about the synthetic purple humans or transporting power armor? You mean Exo Squad? Weren't the bad guys like purple aliens or something? Or synthetic purple people? Or something like that? I don't know. All I remember is that Exo Squad, I mean, it was one of those things where it's obviously one giant toy ad, but from what I recall, even though it was, sort of a Saturday morning cartoon show, it actually touched upon themes regarding war and conflict that were a little, I mean, not over much, but just a bit mature for like a kid's show. It was sort of, it kind of reminded me of like, sort of not within the level of quality necessarily, but like Batman the Animated Series. It kind of dealt with some pretty sort of dark and scary sort of subject matter sometimes that handled it really well, but in a mature way. That's kind of what I remember about Exo Squad. Now, I haven't seen that show, obviously, since it was on TV, so maybe my memory's fuzzy on the specifics, but that's what I remember about it. Professor Chaos, breaking news, rioters have breached the Treasury Department in D.C.? What? According to the Daily Wire. Anybody got...
I'm on my way over.
Yeah, get some corroboration on that one. What?
Rioters breached Treasury Department in Washington.
Who said?
Rioters in Washington, D.C. reportedly breached the U.S. Treasury Department and have caused some damage to the building. Rioters in the nation's capital breached the complex of the Treasury Department and spray painted the area, CNN reported. Some of the protesters were briefly detained by the Secret Service, but eventually let go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Pyrus Creed, why is Jim Jones trending? If that's true, I couldn't tell you. Probably because of this show.
Yeah.
I'll just take credit. Harvest Marvos, what about Captain Power, Scribe Light? Oh, Captain Power. That was such a weirdly ambitious show for its time. Computer-generated enemies and interactive shows with the toys and everything. There was, God, I forget what, there's a YouTube channel that does a bunch of little documentaries on like TV shows from way back when and toy lines and stuff. I forget who it is, but they did a great little real in-depth documentary about Captain Power not too long ago. If I can remember that heck what it was, just look up like Captain Power documentary. You can probably find it. And there's a whole lot that went on behind the scenes of that show and what they had planned to do and all that stuff and the business angle of it. It's a very interesting story. But yeah, I remember Captain Power. I didn't actually own any of the toys though. They were a bit expensive. My parents couldn't afford them at the time and everything. But I watched the show. I thought it was weird to have a live action sort of kids cartoon show in that way. Yeah.
Jim Jones is trending because he's an artist.
Oh, that Jim Jones.
Yeah.
Okay. Not the Jim Jones. Okay. Let's see. Check your logic. Did you see that someone stole a stop sign? No, but I believe it. Chicago Mike, Scribe, have you done or thought about Thundercats as your next thumbnail? I haven't done it. Didn't think about it. Maybe I'll do it. I don't know. We'll see. Joel McLaughlin, have you ever seen the Centurions? It sounds familiar, so probably.
Long time ago.
Do you remember Bigfoot and his muscle machines?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember Inhumanoids?
Yep.
Inhumanoids. Yeah. Let's see. Motto Winter. Oh, Lords. Peach jelly, kiwi jam, or fluorescent plum preserve?
I'm going to say no.
Out of the three, I'd go for peach because at least that sounds relatively normal. And I like peach, okay.
I like
Let's see. Humble Clay, Scribe, what about using a Futurama for a thumbnail? I could do that too, I suppose. I binged all of Futurama at one point in my past, so I don't remember most of it because it all ran together. Kind of one big blur. Peter Silacase, I remember the Centurions. I had the yellow and blue guys. Didn't like the holes everywhere, but the shit you could clip on was pretty cool. Oh, what about Rock Lords? Remember Rock Lords?
No.
Oh, Rock Lords. They were like Transformers, except they were rocks, and I'm not making that up. They were rocks that turned into like robots. But they weren't like a subset of Transformers. They weren't like the Dinobots or something. They were their own show. Very bizarre. Sorry, yeah.
Sorry, this tweet. It says, white people being anti-looting is so laughable to me because historically everything you guys have ever had, you stole.
Of course. Yeah. Moonshock, Scribe like GoBots, the ghetto version of Transformers. Truth be told, I was looking at a GoBots possibility. The problem is that it's just kind of boring. And unless you're a total 80s nerd, there wouldn't be much of a reference there for most people. And I wasn't that excited by the GoBots when I was a kid. Transformers were way cooler. So we'll see. Robert Lang, Skylight, they were a subset of GoBots, rock lore. Were they a subset of GoBots? Huh. I thought they had their own. Oh, maybe they were a spin-off or something. I thought they had their own TV show or whatever. Let's see. Motto Winter. Oh, Lords, what are your thoughts on the He-Man reboot focusing on Teela and her girlfriend? Yeah, that's what I read the other day, that Kevin Smith is doing a He-Man reboot. It's actually a sequel/continuation to the original series, which is amazing in and of itself. But the main character will be Teela, who apparently is a lesbian. Or bisexual at worst, I suppose. I don't know. Are they going to call it He-Man, or are they just going to call it Masters of the Universe? Because you can get away with changing the focus of the story if it's just Masters of the Universe, I guess.
I don't have a problem with them changing the focus of the story, making her a lesbian or whatever. It's okay as long as they don't call it He-Man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm curious to see what kind of animation style they go with, or art style. Do they try to retain like the same look as the original, maybe cleaned up a little bit, but or are they going to Thundercats Roar reimagine it or something? I hope not. I hope not that. If they try to go for the sort of hyper realistic version of the original cartoons, I'd at least appreciate that gesture, let's say.
Have you guys been seeing any of the stories or testimonies coming from some of the people whose buildings and stuff got burned down or businesses got burned down?
I saw the one story going around about the guy who, in 2 rounds of looting or something, he owned his own small business, got broken into and looted, and then they came in and stole the safe afterwards. So now he has nothing.
Yeah, they were trying to I think they actually successfully stole the safe or whatever.
Yeah, I saw that one. I've heard sort of anecdotally about several other businesses like that. Yeah.
Well, there was one where this lady, I think it was an Indian restaurant or whatever, and she said, "We won't lose hope. I'm grateful for our neighbors who did their best to stand guard. Your effort won't go unrecognized. Don't worry about us. We will rebuild and we will recover." As I'm sitting here next to my dad watching the news, I hear him say on the phone, "Let my building burn. Justice needs to be served. Put those officers in jail. We'll be fine."
What?
Yeah, he said, "Justice needs to be served. We can build again. It's fine." But
justice needs to be served in burning down a building that has absolutely nothing to do with anything. Okay, great.
That's justice.
That's a sacrifice you're willing to make, are you? Well,
I mean, that's what they said. Hey, burn my business down. Hey, we need justice. I'm like, okay.
Did you see this video? Is this just like a story someone said?
It's a post.
It's a post.
Yeah, okay. It's from the Gandhi Mala restaurant in Minneapolis.
Well, Humble Clay says insurance claims, I guess, but at the same time, yeah, that sounds. Anything's possible in this day and age. It sounds a little iffy as to whether that's true or not. But
I mean, I've seen,
Yeah.
I am an ally, guys. Like,
yeah.
Take my hood, steal my house. I don't give a fuck. Kill my kids, whatever. As long as you guys know that I'm on your side.
There are some true believers out there. It's true. Yeah. But with that, guys, by the time I finish this, we'll be at the top of the hour, and thus the end of the show. So everybody, holy cow, it's been quite a night. I have no doubt that more is going to occur between. I mean, just what's happened or been reported in the 2 hours we've been talking here. I can't even imagine what things are going to look like in the morning, but we'll see. So everybody, wherever you are, given the circumstances, please stay safe. And if you can stay away from whatever is going on in your local area, please do so. But with that, remember, guys, tomorrow night, per usual, will be on Monkey's channel at the regular time. Tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Pacific, 2:30 p.m. Eastern, I will be doing a TED Excellence. If that changes for some reason, and given my current circumstances, that's entirely possible, I will give as much notice as I can so nobody's waiting around for me. Let's see now. No gaming stream tonight, but Monkey might be doing something later.
Yeah, it'll depend on if I can get the internet running right.
Okay, so keep an eye on Monkey's Twitter for that. He'll post a notice if that happens. And yeah, everybody, thank you so much for coming out tonight and joining us. You guys really are every day. Just prove it once and time again. You guys are the best audience anyone could ask for. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things, even though we have the most well-behaved audience in the world. And everyone who donated, thank you so much for your generosity. I don't know how else to say it. I really do appreciate it. It'll all go towards horrible things I'll put into my body, or perhaps a game prize for someone, as Jaeger Pony has slotted that for a specific purpose. So I will see what I can do about that. Anything else to mention before we go, guys?
Nope.
Just remember, guys, a protest with permission is just a parade.
Oh, wise words. All right. Well then, Monkey, Satsu, thank you for joining me as always. Let me try that again. Thank you for joining me as always as I run my words together like light switch.
No problem.
Everyone, your lives make us sad, and we will see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
And getting out my copy of Screw the Roses, Send Me the Thorns, the romance and sexual sorcery of sadomasochism.
They don't. I was gonna yawn, but it did come.
Okay. And today's secret word is far. You know, the opposite of near. Grover's second favorite word. Far.
Is it?